Hello, and welcome to a Minecraft mob tier list, but in Minecraft itself. These here are the different tiers, and we're just gonna separate it into two main groups. The first being the passive slash the neutral mobs that only attack you if you attack them first, and then the hostile mobs after. No, I do not need all three of these chests. It's only in two of these chests, so goodbye to one chest. And let's just get started with just a few of these mobs here. And I'll be mostly ranking them by use or like what they do, what their use is. And then for like the hostile mobs, like is it fun to fight them and stuff like that. The first that we have is going straight into dirt tier glow squid. Basically no use. The only use it has is glowing sacks, which is, well, actually, you know what? No, I'll put it into copper. I'll put it into high copper. Mostly because glowing sacks are actually pretty good for like the glowing text, and you can use them also for the glow item frames, which I don't think anyone uses. So, glow squid, that's done. Donkey. Donkey, I think, is also copper tier, just because it's a rideable, it's mount, it's like a horse and a mule, but it doesn't really have any, like, it's not really good at anything except you can put a chest on it, so in that case, I would actually put it higher than the glow squid. So donkey would go up top here. Cow is definitely gold, and that is because it's got lots of uses. Um, First, when you kill it, you get leather, which you can use to make armor, and lots of other things. You can actually make the item frames themselves. You also get food, uh, especially once you cook the meat in a furnace. You just get a really good food source. And then um, you can also get milk, which clears any effect that you have. So very good for a lot of things, but also not the best. Cod is next. I'm just gonna put that in copper tier. It's not the greatest, but it's also not terrible. It's a food source. I believe you can get bone meal and bones from, or bones, one of the two, from it, but that might be salmon. So I could be confusing the two. But really, you just get food from cod, so nothing really good from it. Wolf, on the other hand, that is definitely an emerald tier, the first emerald tier so far. Um, because wolves can actually attack other entities, uh, and they automatically just attack skeletons if they're just wild, so there's that. They're very useful for attacking other mobs, and like defense and that kind of thing. So definitely higher. And besides, who wouldn't want man's best friend? At least that's what a lot of people would say. Next we have Zombified Piglin. I think I'm gonna put Zombified Piglin in the gold tier. Mostly because it's interesting that well, first off, it's got a different design, you know, so it's a piglin now. It's not a piglin, or it's a piglin, not a pigman. Which, okay, fine. But their main thing is that you hit it once. If it doesn't die instantly, then others will come and uh, help it attack you back, which is actually quite an interesting pattern, but you can easily outsmart them by just pillaring up 2 blocks here, and then they can't harm you, and you can just kill them all. So that's why it's gold tier. Useful but not, or fun but not great. Tadpole, there's not really a use for it. It grows into a frog, but it, as the tadpole itself, does nothing. It goes straight into the dirt tier. And then squid, kind of the same reasoning as glow squid. You can dye text with it. You can make books. So honestly, ink sacs have a little bit more uses than glow ink sacs, but at the same time, it's also not super useful either way. So there's that. The next one is going to be the Trader Llama. That's basically just a llama reskinned with an automatic, actually not copper for sure. Reskinned llama with a carpet. That's really all it is. You don't have to put on a carpet to get this fancy stuff. And I think this is actually unique to the Trader Llama as well. So there's that. We'll touch on the llama itself. It's literally just a reskinned llama. So go away. But we will touch on the llama a little bit later. Once we get to it. Next, we have the Strider, which I'm actually going to put in gold tier. Because while I don't use it very much, it's very nice to use, especially if you're traveling in the Nether and don't have like an elytra or lots of blocks. So you can just lure a Strider and just waddle along the lava and you move faster. And another benefit too, I think, is that you can walk on top of like entities as well. I think that's the case. That may not be entirely true, but I think that is the case. Next is the Snow Golem. Snow Golem is going into Emerald tier for one specific reason. It's used in a lot of creeper farms, and that just gives it a little bit of an edge. It also attacks blazes and pretty much any entity, so you could use it for lots of farms. The turtle I will be putting into gold tier. It's pretty good. You can breed it easily. The one drawback is that the eggs take forever and only hatch at night. But you can get 5 scutes, which make a turtle shell helmet, and a turtle shell helmet allows you to breathe underwater for 10 seconds without losing air bubbles, which is very nice. But it's also not very easy to get, so there's that. Oh, next is Villager. Definitely, at least before the Villager changes in whatever snapshot it was, definitely Netherite tier, for sure, because you can get basically anything from them for free. It's absolutely insane. Mending books, unbreaking, food, just so many things you can get from villagers, and it's just definitely want to want to put them in the Netherite tier. Allay, I don't use very often. I'm gonna put them in copper because the idea makes sense, where they just pick up whatever block that they are assigned to pick up. Basically, it makes sense as an idea, but it's hard to get them, and they're not great at it, and they just continuously throw the items at you unless you place a note block. So it's finicky for sure. Next we have the Axolotl. Axolotl will definitely go into gold tier. Easier to find and get one than the Allay. And they're also more like a wolf, except wild Axolotl won't attack you. They'll just ignore it, basically. And they also have pretty interesting ability where if they get too low, they can actually heal up and regenerate their health a little bit, which is pretty cool. Wandering Trader, I think definitely like really low gold, just because just because it's useful, but he's not like terribly useful. He's not like the villager. But once the villager update thing happens, if it does happen, I'd say probably either low emerald or just regular gold up here. Just because you can actually get emeralds from them in that update, but this isn't with that update, so wandering traders basically only give you leads for free, because you kill one when it has the 2 llamas, so it has to spawn naturally, and then it'll have the 2 llamas, and you get the idea. So pretty much a useless mob. Let's see. The next one, bat, automatic dirt tier. Also, these two are very similar in egg look. Anyways, bats don't really do anything. They just fly in caves. If they're 50 blocks, if they're like within 50 blocks of a mine shaft, they fly to it. But following them is just not worth it. So bats are just useless. Ocelots, definitely a lower copper tier, because you can't tame them into cats, because that's a whole different thing, and they don't really do much. You can tame slash befriend them for the achievement to breed them, but other than that, they're not really that useful. So I guess actually they're more of a dirt tier. I mean, they still scare off creepers, but you can't tame them, so why use them? Mushroom. Mushroom is actually an interesting one. I'm going to put him in gold. You can get food like the cow, but it's actually mushroom stew, which is a better food source, and you can just always get it. You can't just like kill the cow, get just a little bit of raw beef, and then that's all you have. No, with mushrooms you'd get infinite. And then if you get bored of having a mushroom, you can also just shear the mushrooms off and get either the red variant, or if it's struck by lightning, the brown variant of the mushroom, and then you get those mushrooms, and then it turns into a regular cow, so it's definitely a better cow. Next we have the llama, which I will be putting for sure in gold. Well, really, it's basically the trader llama, but you can still, okay, so trader llama and regular llama are basically the same. You can actually ride on the llama. You have to tame it. You can put carpet on them, and then 10 llamas will actually follow each other. So if you lead one, like grab a lead, you grab this one, and then you've got like 10 other friends, you can actually take them all on a journey, and only one of you has to do any work, so it's really cool. So that's, yeah, that's really what llamas are. They also attack wolves, I think, and wolves attack sheep as well. And that's basically the llama. The fox is an interesting one. I'm gonna put him in gold. You can find them out in the wild, and kind of tame them. Yeah, they're they're an interesting one. They can spawn with multiple things, but you can also give them items, which if they kill something with that item, so let's say for example, you give it a fire aspect sword. If it attacks a zombie or whatever, I don't remember what it attacks, but if it attacks, let's say a zombie, uh, the zombie will light on fire, as if the fox just could attack things and it had fire ability. So you can give it items, but it's not super useful. So that's the fox. The camel is a new one. I'm gonna put him in emerald actually, because it's very unique of a rideable mob. So the camel allows for 2 people to ride on it, which already changes the formula a little bit. And then it also has a little bit of a dash where you can actually jump a few blocks, and it's pretty nice. So it's like a movement kind of thing. It's not necessarily for speed, it's for exploration, if that makes sense. Bees I will also put in Emerald tier. Bees give you honey. Oops. They give you honey, which is food source, and honey can be made into sugar. Uh, but they also give you honeycomb, and honeycomb is just another block. For honey bottles also make honey blocks, which are also useful. There's just a lot of useful things with bees, and they're also a unique mob. Dolphin. Dolphin is definitely the first diamond tier, and that is because the fastest mode of travel, faster than an elytra, is using a dolphin, as well as soul speed boots and depth strider boots. That's what I was trying to say. So basically, you get soul speed and depth strider boots, and on Hermitcraft, that this has actually been shown by Etho and Green for sure. I'm sure there's a few other people who've also shown this thing, but using the Dolphin as a little boost checkpoint kind of thing, you can actually go really fast. So you get the effect of Soul Speed, Depth Strider, and Dolphin's Grace all at once, and you go zooming. So Dolphin's very useful in lots of instances. Next, we have the Iron Golem, Emerald tier. They defend against uh, every hostile entity, and they're also really exploitable to get iron really easily. Frogs, I will put probably in gold. They give there's 3 different variants, which interesting for sure. Um, and each of those variants, when they eat a magma cube, will give you a different frog light. So intriguing, but they're not super useful. And getting that set up is kind of a pain. But once you have it, then it's not as much of a pain. But it's kind of a finicky mob. Chicken, gold, food, and feathers. That's really all it's useful for. Um, and the eggs for cake, so another food thing. Um, so not much to say there. Feathers for arrows. Let's see, who's next? The cat. The cat is going to be a gold tier. Uh, one, I like them, but that doesn't affect the actual ranking of it, because if it was my opinion, the cat would be here, or probably in netherite tier, but based on the use of the cat, it's actually worse than a wolf, because really it only scares off creepers, but if you do sleep with it in a bed, so you have it standing, you sleep in a bed, uh, there's a chance that you can get like some rare items, like rabbit's foot, for example, is one of them. I can't remember all of them, but there's a few items that you can get uh, with a cat and sleeping with it. Pig, actually worse than most of the animals because it's only food. It doesn't give you leather, it doesn't give you any other secondary items. So, copper tier. Polar bear. Um, I'm gonna say gold or bronze tier. Not very good. Drops fish, which is actually logical. Um, you attack it, and it attacks you. If there's a cub, it attacks you because it's territorial. And that's basically polar bear. There's nothing special about it. Horse, definitely better llama. We're gonna put it in emerald tier because you can actually get some really good breeds with horses, especially now, because they changed it recently to make the breeded stats uh, be more of a combined. So like if it's a really fast horse with a fairly fast horse, it's going to be a faster horse. It's not going to randomly get a slow horse. So it's pretty useful, and you can also get higher jump with that. Sniffer, gold tier, harder to get, but you can also get a bunch of like flowers, 2 new flowers actually specifically, um, which both look very nice in some interesting circumstances too. Uh, like you wouldn't think to use them in some circumstances, but then you use them and you're like, huh, that's an interesting way to use it. And then we're on the last few here. First, tropical fish, copper. Their main use is to look cool, but you can also use them to breed axolotl, so that's why it's not just dirt here. So, tropical fish, not really useful. Mule, I think it's basically like a donkey. Let me see. I don't remember, but it might be. I'd have to check that. Yeah, no, okay. And no, you cannot put on a chest on a mule. So donkeys have that very specific use. So not a very good tier. It's just basically a horse, but bred by donkey and mule, or donkey and horse. Goat. Goat is, I would say, gold tier. Um, it can ram you, and you can get goat horns, which are sometimes annoying. Panda, gold tier. Actually, no, bronze, or that's not bronze, that's copper. Um, they don't have lots of uses. They do look really cool and cute. See, it's a panda. Oh, that's a Snivelly one. That one will actually drop slime balls when it sneezes. And that's like its main use. There's also a very rare brown one, which you can try and find, but that I would not recommend because it's very hard to get. Let's see, parrot. Parrot should definitely go into copper tier, mostly because it's a more so aesthetic kind of creature. It drops feathers if you kill it, but why would you kill a parrot? You're a monster if you do. Um, but if you play a music disc with some parrots around, they'll start doing a little dance. Let me see if I can actually get that to happen right now. Okay. See. These are dancing parrots, so anytime you place a music disc in a jukebox, they'll just start doing this fun little dance, and that's their main attribute. They also can mimic sounds, like I think actual parrots do, so that's cool. Yeah, so that's the parrot. Rabbit. Um, hmm. We're gonna put him in gold. They have 3 items that you can get from them. Meat, could have figured that one. They also have rabbit hide, which you can make into leather with 4 of them. And then they have rabbit's foot, which is a really rare drop. Can be used for potion of leaping. Let's see. Salmon. I think for sure the salmon drops like is it bone or bone meal? I can't remember. It might be bone meal in Java and bone in Bedrock. But it's basically just the better version of the cod, because I'm pretty sure the salmon drops the bone meal. If it's not the salmon and it's the cod, then switch the two. And that's that. Sheep is next. Definitely better than pretty much every other passive entity, and that's because it's got meat and wool. You can dye it to get different colors of wool, and there's 16 colors of wool, so the sheep are actually pretty useful for being a sheep. So, yeah, there's the first half, and oh my, that is very, very a varied area of basically my opinion of all of the mobs. Now, like all of these in like the copper tier don't necessarily go in that order, and like all of the gold don't necessarily go in that order specifically. Um, it's just that's the order that I looked at them, so that's the order that I placed them, pretty much, except for like these two here. Or is it? It may have been these two here, but still. So there's all of the passive mobs. Now, on to the not passive mobs and the more dangerous mobs, actually. So this one will be interesting. Okay, so the first one is going to be the Piglin. And the Piglin I did not use as a neutral because it will attack if you're not wearing gold, and so that's how I placed it. Piglin is going to be gold tier, fits it very well. It attacks you if you're not wearing gold, like I said earlier, and you can actually give it gold ingots, and it'll give you other stuff in return, one of those being ender pearls, which are very useful. You also can get soul speed from them, so they've got a lot of interesting stuff about them. Shulker definitely emerald tier. Very good. Oh no, that is not Shulker. That is Shulker. Very good late game uh, mob. It's found in the end city, so it's definitely late game. But when you kill it, you get a chance of getting a Shulker shell, which 2 of them plus a chest gets you a Shulker box, which is just another chest in your inventory that you can take around, which is very fun. Guardian. I'll say gold. They're annoying to fight in the water because that's their habitat. And they shoot a laser at you, which is not very nice at all. And they also have this little flopping animation, and their eye watches you all the time, which is interesting. Fun fact there. Slime, copper tier for sure. It attacks you. If it dies, it can drop slime blocks, or slime balls, not slime blocks. And the little babies don't even attack you, so it's kind of an adorable feature. Ravager. Ooh, this one is very annoying to fight. So I'm gonna put it in emerald tier because it's very powerful, and you can actually stun it with a shield, which is very interesting. Creeper, emerald tier, easy. Gunpowder for firework rockets, and TNT, and that's really all you need to know. You can block their explosions with your shield as well. Endermite, automatic dirt tier, which we actually haven't had a lot of. I knew we'd have the bat in here. I can't remember what this other one is. Tadpole, yeah. But I thought there were gonna be fewer than this. There's for sure gonna be one more in this spot, so I'll just save its item frame there for right now. But Endermite, it's really just an annoying mob that is hard to even find. And for most of you casual players, you probably even haven't seen an Endermite because it spawns. It's got a chance of spawning with a ender pearl throw, but at the place that you threw the ender pearl, not where it landed. So it just, yeah. So not very good at all. Warden. I'm putting this in copper. Not very fun to fight. Very hard to kill. Not really any reward. So high risk, low reward kind of mob. So don't really like that. Let's see, who's next? Pillager. We'll put him in gold tier. He can give you crossbows, and that's basically it. They can be enchanted, they can have an arrow in it. If it's a raider pillager, so he spawns in a raid and there's like 5 or 6 that spawn near you, and he has the banner, then you can also get that banner too. So interesting, but not terribly useful. And that banner also cannot be entirely perfectly replicated. It can be closely replicated, but not perfectly. Elder Guardian, definitely gold tier. It's like the Guardian, except bigger. And if you're in survival, he will drop, or well, he won't drop it. He will give you mining fatigue, which makes you mine slower. And another thing is that he drops wet sponge when dying. They both drop fish. Actually, pretty sure I put the Guardian. Where did I put the Guardian? I think I may have put him in here. Either way, I think he still fits there. They drop fish. They drop prismarine something. I can't remember what the item is called, but not tons of uses for the risk of going to an ocean monument, which is a lot of why I avoid them because of the mining fatigue. Zombie villager, I'm gonna put in emerald because you can actually cure it to get cheaper trades from the villager, and it doesn't really matter what profession it spawns as because you can always change it. So, well, you can change it until you trade with it, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like the villager, and it'll actually make the trades even lower. So there's that. Cave spider. I'm gonna put cave spider in gold, which is mostly because of the poison that it gives. When you fight it, when it attacks you, it gives you poison. You go away, sir. It gives you poison, and poison's very annoying. It crawls through cobwebs like nothing, and it drops string and spider eyes, which string is used for bows and fishing rods and stuff like that. Spider eyes don't have as many uses, but they still exist. Husk, zombie variant, actually better than a zombie, because it gives you uh, the hunger effect, which is unique to the husk. So that's really its only good feature about it. Spider, basically a cave spider, except bigger and does not give you poison. Wither skeleton, ooh, emerald. It has a really rare drop of its head. You can actually get its head if you kill it, and it's really low chance for it. It gives you wither. It's 3 blocks tall, so you can actually trap it fairly easily, and gives you bones and coal when you kill it. So pretty useful, but it's also pretty dangerous at the same time. Vindicator. Vindicator is a type of pillager, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's definitely an emerald tier. It uses an axe, which means it's much more dangerous, and it can drop it, of course, but it has a chance to give you an emerald when it dies too, so that's really awesome. A passive mob that I actually forgot about is the zombie horse, which you cannot get in the base game, so dirt tier for you, because you are a garbage horse that you cannot get uh, in survival. So there's a lot of dirt tier. I forgot about you, and you need to go away. And it died very easily. Wow. Okay. So that was the zombie horse. Forgot about him earlier. Zombie. Zombie is garbage. Zombies can spawn with armor, shovel weapons, so swords, and if they're baby zombies, they can actually spawn on a chicken to make a chicken jockey. And that's basically it. They have a chance of dropping both iron ingots and potatoes as well. And yeah, there's nothing else really. Silverfish, dirt tier. It's a useless mob that's supposed to add danger to the mountains and the stronghold. Vex. Oh, I hate Vexes. Vexes are going into copper. They're super annoying to fight. They fly through blocks, they deal lots of damage, and they're super annoying to kill. The only benefit to them, really, is that they do die after a period of time. Evoker. Oh, Evoker is our second diamond tier. Oh, that is a guest, not an evoker. We will get to you, shush. Uh, so the evoker spawns the Vex and uh, and also like some sort of like spikes. I don't remember what it's called, but it spawns some spikes too, so it's pretty dangerous to fight. Um, but it's in Diamond tier because it drops the Totem of Undying, which allows you to die if you lose all of your health. Well, kind of die. Basically, if you lose all your health and you're holding it in either your main hand or your offhand, then it's uh, then it gives you absorption. It puts back 2 hearts of your health, and it gives you regen and fire resistance, and I think regular resistance as well. So lots of things that are useful about it, which we're going to put in Emerald tier. And the witch gives you lots of different like ingredients that you can use within brewing in some form or fashion, except for the stick. I don't know why the stick is part of its loot drop, but it is. The witch throws potions or drinks potions depending on what she's doing in a raid, which is basically another kind of boss that you get from being around a villager with bad omen. In a raid, the witch will throw regen potions to heal its allies, and allow them to continuously heal as well. And then they'll throw other items as well at you, which are to not do to not help you. You can also get the potion if she's drinking it. So if she's drinking like fire res, you have a chance to get that potion. If she's drinking a health potion, same thing. Drowned. We're gonna put him in gold, kind of for a similar reason to the husk. It gives you 2 items new to 1.13, the Nautilus shell and the Trident. The Nautilus shell to make a conduit for underwater breathing and night vision and other stuff like that. And then the Trident is a really useful underwater weapon that you can throw. Then we have the Ghast. We're going to put in gold tier as well. There's a lot of gold tier mobs apparently. Huh, interesting. I spawned another one. Great. Guests shoot fireballs at you, and they can drop gunpowder and gas tiers. Gas tiers make regen potions, and yeah, that's pretty much the gas. They fly around and make annoying noises like that. Okay. We're gonna save the bosses for last, just because I want to. So we're going to the Zoglin, zombified Hoglin. You get it by bringing it into the Nether or the Overworld. I mean, it's basically a zombified Piglin, except a Hoglin, and yeah, that's yeah. We'll touch on the Hoglin later. We're gonna put the Piglin Brute into the gold tier. The Piglin Brute is the worst nether mob in existence. He will kill you very quickly. In fact, I've actually died to him in my hardcore series, which is great. Um, no, it's not actually great. But yeah, very dangerous. Will not care if you're wearing gold or not. Uh, and yeah, that's pretty much the Piglin Brute. You can't trade with him either, so not as good. Skeleton. Where do I put a skeleton? I'll put skeleton in gold tier again. Lots of gold tiers here. Um, Probably has a pretty decent function. You can get its bow if it's enchanted. You have a chance to get that. Um, and you can get bones and arrows from them, which are, well, arrows, of course, are useful for bows. Bones, you can make bone meal, which you can make crops and trees grow faster, and that's pretty much it. The pufferfish, I'm gonna put in copper. Not very useful. It's if you get near it, it puffs up, which you can use for redstone stuff, which actually is the main reason why it's not in dirt tier right now. Um, and that it gives you poison if you get too close to it while it's alive. If you kill it and eat it, it gives you poison, nausea, and something else I think as well. So not a lot of great stuff. The stray is actually going to go into emerald because it's a little bit more fun to fight. A little bit, not much more. Um, Gives you when you kill it slowness arrows, which are something that lots of people don't really use, especially in a regular survival world. Just it's just a slowness potion, but on an arrow. That's really all it is. Um, so yeah, let's see. Magma Cube, definitely a better slime. It's more dangerous. It doesn't die in one hit in its baby form. It attacks you in its baby form. It also gives you magma cream for fire res potions. So lots of uses for it. Hoglin, also emerald. Hard to kill. Uh, Gives you food. When you kill it, gives you leather. So it's basically a cow, but it's a pig, but it's in the nether, but it drops leather. It's a lot of things. So there's that. Blaze is pretty useful. You get blaze rods, which are used. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put you in diamond tier. There's not a lot of diamond tier mobs right now. Um, so blaze rods for uh making a brewing stand, and then the blaze powder for charging it, and making Eyes of Ender to go to the stronghold. So, not tons of uses, but there are a few. Endermen, kind of a similar vein of thought for the blaze. It's actually one of the first mobs, I think. It's not like the first, but it's also not really recent. It's a pretty old mob. It's really tall. It teleports, uh, and it drops ender pearls, which can teleport you to where it lands, and it can also make Eyes of Ender. So, a few pretty good uses. The Phantom, I'm going to put in copper tier uh, because it's terrible mob. I don't know why we voted it in when we did, but we did. And yeah, its only useful-ish feature being the Phantom Membrane, which you can use to repair Elytra if you don't have mending on it, or other Elytra to spare, and it can also the Phantom Membrane can also be used to make Soul Falling potions. And that's all of the hostile mobs, not including the two bosses. Now, we're going to start with the Wither, because it's a little bit more, it's harder to get to, really. So we're going to for sure put it in Diamond tier. It might go in Netherite tier, just depending on how I feel. Um, it really could just bounce back between the two, depending on how I'm feeling. It's basically a boss version of the Wither skeleton, and if it kills a mob with its skulls, it'll kill the mob first, and then that mob will drop a Wither Rose, which is a withering flower, which is actually really unique for a flower, which actually that's gonna make it go into this tier here. And in Bedrock, to make it even harder, it also spawns Wither Skeletons in its second phase, which you have to use a sword with in both versions. Uh, and that's the Wither. And then we have the Ender Dragon, the official end of the game, like roll credits boss. Uh, I'm going to put it into Diamond tier. It is not as good as the Wither or the Villager. These two deserve their rightful spot here. The dragon, it could really honestly be an emerald. The boss fight is really easy. You just destroy the pillar, you destroy the end crystals, and you either try to shoot it down, or you just wait for it to perch and kill it there. And it's just a really easy boss fight. It, honestly, it's probably one of the easiest mobs to kill if it wasn't because it was a boss. But it is actually harder to kill in the sense of it flies around the end, it heals from end crystals, it shoots dragon fire at you, just lots of things. But yeah, that is my little tier list for all of the mobs in for sure Java Minecraft, but it's not too different in Bedrock. The list really doesn't change much depending on the version, and this is all just my opinion. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Where actually this Tuesday, where something very special is happening. Please check it out once you see it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you guys. Bye.